Howdy, my name is Drew Hurst, and today I will be seeking a solution to the conflict between Cricket Australia and Australian Cricket Association. Well, you might be wondering, what is the huge conflict that these two organizations need a consultant to come in and resolve their issue? Well, early last year, a batsman by the name of Cameron Bancroft was found to be tampering with the game ball during the cricket match against South Africa. Ultimately, the item he was using to tamper the ball with was sandpaper that he was ultimately hiding in his pants. After the game, Bancroft and current team captain Steve Smith attended a press conference where they dealt with many questions regarding the incident. In the end, Bancroft was ultimately fined by the match referee and Smith was fined by the ICC. Dave Warner, vice captain of the team, and Smith agreed to give up their captain roles during the match, and ultimately all three men were suspended for significant time. Along with Smith and Warner giving up their captain roles during the match, they have also forfeited giving up their leadership roles further on down the road in the future. Cricket Australia is wanting to make a statement. With this not being the only case of ball tampering, Cricket Australia is ultimately wanting this element of the game to be eliminated. They're also having some organizational issues, so this punishment being laid down, it will help them continue to move on and solve their current inner issues that they have going on. Next, the Australian Cricket Association believes that the punishment that was handed down was very severe. Compared to other punishments handed down in the past, the punishment handed down to these players was very excessive. The Australian Cricket Association wants fairness for all players. For example, this sentence was 9 and 12 months, and in the past, players have only gotten 3, 4, 5 month suspensions, not nearly as excessive as the 9 or 12 month suspensions. Together, both of these organizations want these cricket matches to be played fairly and the players to enjoy the game and not mess with the game. They also want fair punishment to the players who did the wrong and for them to learn so that this issue does not happen again. Ultimately, punishments need to be in place because later on down the road, controversies might happen, and they need to fall back on what they've done in the past and keep going on the right track on a year-to-year basis. Both these organizations, again, would like the sport to be played fairly across the board. Who doesn't want to see good cricket matches on a daily basis? Collectively, they want to minimize and even eliminate the factor of cheating, but we want to do so in the most professional way. Punishments from both of these sides are good, but too excessive or way too little punishments could result in controversies down the road. Like I said earlier, if this punishment is way too excessive or way too little, then no one's going to do anything about it, because if it's too little, people are going to still cheat. But if it's too excessive, then people are going to throw their arms up and be like, why is this very excessive? In order to move forward in this conflict, I would first like to propose a few ideas to both of these organizations. Through my experience, I have noticed that if both sides will first listen to the other side and hear their full story, things will move quicker and smoother. Next, both sides need to be reasonable when asking for compromises. Neither side will want to give up a lot, thus be reasonable in asking. For example, this 9-month suspension, don't go in and ask for a 1-month suspension, because that's very unreasonable to the other side. We want both sides to walk away happy here. Both of these sides need to make a conscious effort to find common ground between the two, not just their own interests. This is done by active listening. Both sides will listen to the other side and hear what they want, and then also find common ground on what they both want, and then pursue that better. This will be done by consistently asking questions to get to know other sides' intentions better. For example, if people are going to active listen, questions are going to be thought of during the process. So when it comes time to ask questions, ask those questions so that there's full clarity during this negotiation process. Lastly, it is a huge key to be friendly during these talks. If one side becomes too angry with the other or tempers start to flare, nothing will get done. For example, people might walk away from the table. They might just stop talking altogether, which is not what we want. We want people to be talking through this entire process, and the more we talk, the quicker we get to a resolution. In terms of negotiating between the two parties, I propose that we use the integrative bargaining technique due to the fact that the Australian Cricket Association is wanting to reduce the punishment for its players, and the interest of the ICC is to eliminate the aspect of cheating altogether and the players that are involved. Ultimately, both sides want this game to be played fairly, so that both sides want to win in a way, and I think using the integrated bargaining technique, they will be able to do this. The interest of the ICC is to eliminate cheating altogether and the players involved in these cases. However, similar cases have happened in the past, yet their punishment was not nearly as harsh as this one came down to be. Thus, the Australian Cricket Association is bringing this to the attention of the ICC and wanting fairness across the entire board for every team, every player. In this negotiating process, both sides can be open for any suggestions one side might have, as well as speak their sides and their beliefs. If something is left unsaid during this process, then ultimately the resolution will not be the best it could be for both parties. Lastly, every negotiation will have barriers to cross, and the main reason is because people have to express their personalities. Personalities come out in the heatest of moments, so this is why this is a huge barrier to get over. In order to move past this barrier, we need to be aware of each other and listen intently in order to resolve it correctly. Next, we'll need interest of both parties to be on the table, not just one because we're using the integrated bargaining technique. Lastly, each party wants to walk away like they want something. So it is imperative that all the facts are there so that each side can walk away happy. And ultimately, with the integrated bargaining technique, it's a win-win situation for either side. That is my solution for the ICC case. Thank you for listening.